Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah, Om Namah, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you all for being here with me again today. Probably one of the most important presentations I've ever done, or perhaps will ever do. I had planned to do it a little bit later today, but Spirit just moved, so here I am. Thank you again for joining me for the entire Impromptu Nebthet musical. My cosmic mother, who has helped me bust up bogus HIV worldwide and heal the sacral chakra. I do have notes today, a lot of notes that I've taken in the last 2 days. And I want to cover these things because I think that they are important, and my role in sharing these things with you is to do it in the way that I do it, with an open mind and an open heart and throat chakra, being as honest as I can in the moment, given what I know to be true for me, hoping that it can inspire you. Again, I only get 30 minutes using a handheld cell phone, which I filmed my entire teachings on YouTube with. So it is frustrating switching from hand to hand. So I do apologize for that. Trying to maneuver the notes and keep a train of thought is something that I am developing and learning to do. So again, thank you for being here with me. Now, everything that I have done since entering teaching has been relating it to the horrors of receiving a bogus HIV diagnosis, all that entails, along with being Kundalini awakened, coming to do the best I can to understand what's happening in my mind and in my body and in my life, with everything being torn down and stripped away. And now with the understanding that the great divine mother never wanted us entrapped here, and we have been entangled in a prison, an earth illusion and a prison, and then breaking down through dragonfly symbolism all that is about. And wanting to be healthy, I have wanted to be healthy as a demonstration that HIV is bogus. No science to prove it, only propaganda. Only cellular debris was seen, and I am the living proof of that. And so I have enjoyed making subtle changes in my diet, in my consciousness, in the way I go about seeing myself, seeing people around me, and taking full and complete personal responsibility for everything going on in my life. And now, under what I do believe is a spiritual entity attack, but even that, on some level, I have invited to myself, and I have been in sheer pain. But I am hanging on because I do believe that I am among the chosen ones, the 0.02% of conscious people on this planet, coming to you all at this time. So I am enduring the pain and making the changes. I am thankful for steady groups. I remember way back when I began steady groups, probably over 10 years ago, I went to a meeting, and the icebreaker activity was name an animal that you feel is helpful to you. Everybody went around the room. One guy described a lynx, and it got to me, and being nervous and in a new group, I said a dog. You know, because dogs have been very loyal to me, my mother's dog. But then now that all these years later, have grown so much. Dog is God spelled backwards, used by white people who love their animals more than they seem to love us. But I'm not even going to focus on them because it's all about me. It's all about self. And had I known then what I know now, I never would have named that animal. But I have grown so much throughout the years, listening to Bobby Hemmitt, all these teachers who are also growing in awareness throughout the years that they teach, and the contradictions in some of the things that they do. And me following them, it gave me freedom sometimes to even feel that it's okay to drink. It's okay to party. It's okay to not be totally and completely pure in my consciousness and in my body, in everything about myself. You know, there are even images on the pyramid walls where the ancients sat around partying, playing saxophones. But now, you know, after all the years and trouble I went through drinking and using drugs, even though I learned so much through that process, you know, here lately I've been so alone and so in pain and so isolated, and then learning rituals to call in ancestors and spitting libation, I began drinking again. Well, I only buy 2 shots, 2 little bottles of 2 shots, but it does help me feel better. But I'm wondering if even that is hindering my spiritual process. So, you know, people all throughout my cigarette smoking days have lectured me. I'm a grown man, believing that smoking cigarettes anchors my energy. My guru did it, although he was a white man. Cigarettes have seemingly been my only friends, the only thing consistent in my life. And I have not wanted to let them go, but I am contemplating even that, letting go of everything, because I want to be here to complete my mission, to open my third eye fully, maybe diet, and even though all the water that I drink, the cigarettes may have to now be let go of. On yesterday, I did a presentation. I ended up going to a park called Swamp Water. Well, I finished it, I posted it, and then I thought about it, and there was really only a small section that I wanted to keep from it. Because when I got there, ravens were everywhere, and they began cawing 4 times. So I did delete that presentation because I didn't want it to show me seemingly defeated, wanting to end it all, wanting to not be here because of the pain that I'm in. And and just everything about everything. I just got so down, but I don't want to give up, and I don't want to go out that way. So it was for cause. The principle of the fourth chakra, love is divine power. Love for everything highly melanin. Love for myself. And so I put that short 2-minute clip back out there, and here I am today after having studied all night, listening to Bobby Hemmitt speak about human artificial 1 and 2, us having created this hybrid, not a mutant, because a mutant is a natural phenomenon of nature that may only occur thousands or perhaps even millions of years, but a hybrid that the ancient Commetans, Yakub, and all that story is about that. And yet we quickly look to blame them and focus energy on that rather than going back inside and seeing what we can do to self-correct and change ourselves and make it through this spiritual warfare that we are in. And so, again, I relate everything to HIV. I have been upset with my own black people for not liking me, about being homosexual, about how I've been called a genetic defect. I seem to not be able to make a connection with my own people. And in my mind, it's because of that. So I taught all about homophobia and homosexuality and all of that. But I've come to the realization that all that really matters is how I feel about myself, and I do love me. Now, I have been steady on the Temple of Luxor, which teaches knowledge of the chakras, and I've urged you all to see Magical Egypt. And here lately, I have been watching Netflix, and I came across Daughters of the Dust. I watched it years ago, but again, I've grown so much that I see it all in a different way now. And it was all about honoring the ancestors and how the knowledge of who we are since slavery, even though we now know that it was a sacrifice that we made to sink to this low point that we are in so that we can rise higher than ever before. And in the Daughters of Dust, I urge you to go back and see it. You can clearly see it's a period of time after slavery supposedly ended, which even to this day it has not. It has only changed form. But it was a struggle of our ancestors, the Gila and Geechee people, struggling with the past and then looking for the future. Jesus having been introduced, and the ancestors, our ancestors who were hanging on to our ancestral knowledge, never wanting to lose that connection. And so how I have grown, in creating my altars and honoring my own ancestors, particularly those on my mother's side of the family, untainted by rape. And so I can't let go of that. And I want to apologize to any ancestors that I may have offended. But do see Daughters of the Dust. It's all there. And it is so inspiring. And so, moving right along, I'm taking a look down here at my notes. And I've talked about moving back to Atlanta only to discover all the horrible things that have happened. Black eradication, cloning of our people, to turn us against each other, and understanding all of that in a totally new way. And so feeling hopeless and helpless here every time I see a train go by, every time I ride around this city and see how much it has changed from what it was to what it is now, and knowing for certain that we are under attack, and especially the Kundalini awakened people. Please see Nebthet Impromptu, Nebthet's musical. I have laid it all out. There are 296 presentations. After today, there will be 297. And so I've laid it all out there. But I want to urge you, when you're taking a look at Bobby Hemmitt, do see his interviews, the one I'm getting ready to talk about, where he's sitting being interviewed, not standing before a crowd. And you get to see a whole nother level of scholarship. And it is quite inspiring to learn from all that he has done for us. I have joined Serious Times Media at the Patreon level, and I am frustrated by all the interruptions in the commercials, but I understand that he has to pay bills just like us, and so that's the way. So, while I'm in bed reclined listening to him, I get up and just hit skip. You know what I mean? But it is frustrating. But I know you all are doing the same thing. Now, Kundalini annihilates the ego. Kundalini annihilates the ego. So, remaining in a state of compassion for even our people out there that we call sheeple, who are not at the level of awareness where we are, we still have to dig deep and do all that we can and create a balance between wasting energy and conserving energy, to being somewhere in that middle ground, wanting to help and doing all we can, but not allowing others to distract us from our purpose for being here. Okay? Balance is so key. All right, going over here to the next card of notes here, and we really are talking about becoming God and Goddess on this planet. Something that we were before. We've learned all about monster souls inside us, but we are still here trapped in this illusion, and we do have to tend to this dimension of consciousness awareness while at the same time becoming Christ on the planet. I need to change arms. And that does require responsibility to make changes, even when we think we might not be able to or might not even want to, because we've been so conditioned and we are vibrated in the lower chakras. But we cannot become Christ until our chakra system is properly aligned, cleaned, and receiving energies from the cosmos. Entities, mutant energies, human artificials that we created, they do not have access to the higher chakras, and we cannot expect them to teach us. We have to learn from our ancestors, from our master teachers, and become the Christ consciousness ourselves. I've been in that awareness for a long time. I've taught that. I've sung about it. But living it is a whole nother thing. And so we constantly have to go back to the things we know that do work. I have a note in here about the movies that I've been seeing. Netflix. And we can clearly see that white people living out in the suburbs, situations they find themselves in, reveals that they are not ensouled beings, and they know it, and they are showing it to us. I've seen several movies, even the ones around the world, about the Arabs who have now infiltrated our sacred lands and are using our knowledge. And even in their movies, you never see a darker Arabian, Dravidian. You never see black people. And in these movies out in the country, you know, if you see a black person, you don't see one who's conscious. But we have to watch these movies so we can learn what it is we're dealing with and who it is we're really up against. And so we are under attack. We are under attack. And I have been feeling it, and it has definitely diminished my will. It's almost like maybe I'm not one of the chosen ones. I need to just bow out and move on out of here, because waking up in hell every day is a challenge. So I spend a lot of time in meditation, listening to music like what you hear now. This one is called Releasing Inner Conflict and Struggle. It cleanses the aura of anxiety and worry and overthinking. So do check it out. 528 Hertz release inner conflict and struggle, anti-anxiety cleanse, stop overthinking, worry, and stress. And I do that all day long. No more TV till I visit my parents, which I think I'm going to need to do today. I've been so alone since Thanksgiving that it does challenge my sanity. I need to be around people. And I know that my mother loves me. And so I'm going to be probably heading home here soon. I have other notes here. Ali's wedding is one of those. When you go in medical offices today, you see a lot of people from India. Occasionally you might see a black doctor, like my dentist that I happened upon the other day, but I don't want to accuse him of anything, and I know I need to get along with him in order for him to operate safely inside my mouth. But he may very well be boule. And so these are the people that they have put in places to supposedly care for us. And so in this movie, Ali's Wedding, we learn, because he revealed that he cheated on in medical school. And so whatever their interest in helping us, we have to check that every time we choose to receive care from them. I need to change arms again. But anyway, that movie, Ali's Wedding. There are other movies out there about what happens out in the suburbs, and a lot of killing goes on. And it reveals an unensouled beings that live in that area. I have a note here about homosexuality. It really bothers me that I feel like a high spiritual entity, but yet my own people look down on me. And so I haven't been able to connect, further isolating myself. So I do want to challenge them. Bobby Hemmitt has reclaimed, Brother Panic has recanted, and many black women around me treat me like an equal human being. I've had a hard time going to study groups, Kemet groups, because I am homosexual. And people are in those groups for all manner of reasons. And, if they're looking at you as the epitome of black manhood and you're gay, you can get subtly pushed out. And I hate that. I know that I'm from Sirius B. I know who my cosmic mama Nebthet is. And I feel loved. And nothing can make me change that. If I failed, even though I haven't had sex in so many years, I'm labeling myself as homosexual, but I haven't been practicing it. Bogus HIV has cut us off from sexual freedom. And people don't seem to really realize that. Sexual energy, Kundalini energy, is the most powerful healing energy available to us on the planet. And I have been cut off from that. No love, no hugs, no touch, no intimacy, and very little understanding of what I am going through. And this isn't to have a pity party. It is because I am the only, I think, living proof that HIV is bogus, out here teaching it and trying to express what it really is like, to hopefully open up some avenues in your consciousness so you can stop being judgmental, stop being stereotyping people who are among us, who are a part of us, that we cannot divorce ourselves from. Now, why we are gay, even sometimes we don't know. If we could change it, we would. But we do believe it has something to do with the soul. And it is an important aspect of this age of truth, age of knowledge, age of information, age of enlightenment that we are living in now. And it is all about opening our pineal gland fully to, I believe, destroy this illusion. And so when I come back to that consciousness, and I maybe take a nap, and when I'm feeling down or depressed or whatever, I'll wake up and I'll have a different feeling, and I'm able to go on for another day. Now, I had a guru once who taught us that we are not the doer of action. We are the seers, and it is our mother's play of consciousness, and that she will never give us more than we can handle. So if that knowledge and that awareness can help you dig deeper into yourself to continue to go on every day, I urge you to do it. I need to put my copper bracelets back on because we wear them for a reason, because we are under spiritual attack, and it is an energetic attack. It purifies impurities, negative energies from foods and whatever from our body when we wear copper. So I'm going to go back to wearing copper. You can see I stripped everything. I cut my locks, I cut my mustache, I cut my sideburns, and I want to start fresh. I want to be here to complete my mission. You know, I am God on the planet, and so are you. I'm checking back through my notes one more time because I know I'm going to hit stop, and there are going to have to be things that come up that I haven't mentioned, but I've mentioned quite a lot, and I want to honor those who were slain to bogus HIV to the tune of 37-something.1 million people, probably well over that, all over this planet. I honor you all. I am still here, and so I'm going to do everything that I can to avenge your names and to complete my mission here. I didn't start the way I had initially planned to, which was to urge you all to, first of all, remember my book. There is no HIV, Rainbow Warrior, Healing Through Chakra and Kundalini Awareness. And then this book, Hermetica. Bobby Hemmitt talks a lot about it in his presentations of Human Artificial, where it is detailed and documented in here that we actually did create the white man. And so do remember that in everything that you do. Hermetica, excellent book. I read it years ago. Now, there are a lot of books that I have over here on my shelf that I learned later were not the truth. But, you know, we still have to keep moving. We still have to keep learning. I was looking around for a copy of my own book, but to show it again and urge you to get it. I have grown a lot since that book, and I believe that there is nothing certain but change. Change is constant, and we have to adapt. We can forgive ourselves for steps or mistakes that we made. We can forgive other people, because as we grow in consciousness and stay fully in the present moment of consciousness awareness, staying in the present moment of consciousness awareness, the crown chakra, that all things are possible. I am Dr. Damien Q. Laster, a.k.a. Kabir Amenwa Anpu of Sarset Harakti, the conscious doctor, Rainbow Warrior. My cousin Mama Nebthet is putting my pieces back together.